Survey found that 40% of hiring managers use Facebook and other social media sites to screen out those applicants before they do those job interviews. So, does it make sense for you to turn the tables and use Facebook to look up information about your potential employer as well before you go into that interview? Well, turns out you need to be careful because there is such a thing as being too prepared. Knowing too many personal details about a hiring manager could get your resume thrown out. Joining us this morning, our job power panel this morning, we have our friend Mark Moore, who's the president of Cavallero Staffing, and our good friend Dr. Mimi Hall. They've both joined us before, workplace psychologists. Thank you both for being here this morning. We really appreciate you guys coming in and talking about this. Okay, so let's talk first about, you do want to be prepared when you go into an interview. So Mark, let's ask you first, what is it that you would want to know before you walk into a situation with a potential employer?
I think maybe a great example would be, if you look at someone's desk when you're at a job interview, you're going to see that I went to UCF. Obviously, it's the greatest college in the planet, but and we can have some commonality based on maybe you went to UCF, but I don't need to know what year it was founded. I don't need to know all the details with regards to that. So kind of just be prepared to back off just a little bit when it comes to getting too detailed, I think.
Dr. Hall, what about the personal details? What about going into a situation with a potential employer and saying, you have 3 kids, I saw that on Facebook, I have 3 kids too, let's talk about that.
That can be even a little creepy, and that your employer doesn't really want you to have looked up on information on them. It's more important for your making decisions about things. Like, for example, if you do go on Facebook and you see 20 pictures of them drinking after work, that gives you a sense that that may be the culture of the organization. So you may want to make some decisions, but it may not be what you want to bring up in an interview.
What about if you have commonalities in the business world, Mark? Is that important to bring up? What if you look at, you see on their LinkedIn account that they worked for IBM back in the 80s, and well, hey, I did too. Should you bring that up?
I think it's, again, fantastic to find some commonality. I think that the person interviewing you more than likely is going to be able to determine that and be able to bring that up in an interview. But certainly at some point, if you don't see that it comes up and there's, again, some small commonalities there, it doesn't hurt to bring that up.
What are some other things that we do in the interviewing process that can make the person who's about to hire you maybe feel a little uncomfortable about you as a candidate?
One of the things you want to be careful is that you don't bring up too much personal information at all. You want to stick to what the questions are that the person is asking. Deal with what you can do. Deal with your sense of knowledge, what you know, what you can do, how you can help the company, which is a really important piece. But if you start sharing too many personal details, they're going to start to think about the fact that, are you going to be workplace oriented, or is this a great social outlet for you? So you want to be careful.
Mark, any last words of advice for anybody who's going into this situation as far as their social media is concerned? I
couldn't agree more. I think that you need to make sure your social media is sort of clear of anything that could be obviously controversial, I would say, but for certain, I think bringing up personal things about your employer in an interview is absolutely, I would say more than frowned upon.
Over the line.
No question.
Definitely over the line. Listen, thank you so much, Mark.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Hall, appreciate both of your time this morning. Hopefully we were able to help people out, give them a little bit of advice. Jamie King.